The Premier Winde. Vanessa Poonah has been following the story for us, and we started speaking to her a little bit earlier on, but we had to cut away for that briefing from the Minister in the Presidency. Vanessa, catch us up again with the situation where you are. I believe you're outside the Premier's residence.
Peter, that's correct, yes. I am here at Loewenhof, the Premier's residence, and a short while ago, Premier Winde, of course, expressing his condolences as well. Two confirmed two cases of COVID-19 deaths reported in Cape Town. He would confirm that one of the deaths, the woman that had been treated at the Tygerberg Hospital, was one of the two deaths. The other, of course, not saying much about the private hospital matter, but saying, confirming that both are indeed in Cape Town. So it seems as though Cape Town now the focal point of the country, really, as South Africa records its first two deaths. And Peter, once again, the Premier has asked each and every single citizen, like has been done from national level, to please observe the 21-day lockdown. I mean, a short while ago this afternoon, Peter, I was out in the Dunoon area. It's near Tableview here in Cape Town. Long queues of people standing and waiting to get into a shopping complex, saying that they, need to get something to eat. And Premier Winde says that this is something that definitely needs to be looked into, but also assuring people that shops that provides food will not be closed. They will be open each and every day, so people do not have to be worried that they won't have a chance to go to the shop to buy bread, meat, milk, etc. For the duration of the lockdown. It's very important for people to know that shops selling food will indeed be open throughout the lockdown period. And that being the one thing that we saw, Peter, is that there is absolutely zero social distancing in informal settlements and townships. We know the socio-economic circumstances. We know that the shacks are built practically on top of one another, with umpteen people living in one shack in many instances. It's going to prove a challenge, and it's one of the issues or areas of concern for government, both at a national, provincial and local level, but asking each and every citizen to please adhere to the lockdown rules, because this is not being done to necessarily want to strip people of the human rights or right to movement, but it is indeed to preserve life, and that message cannot be iterated strongly enough, Peter, as I've spoken to the Premier here in Cape Town.
Vanessa, have you been able to get a sense from those people that are not observing the social distancing, particularly standing a meter apart in these queues, why they're not doing that? Is it that they don't understand, or is it just plain disregard?
Peter, I've spoken to quite a number of people in that informal settlement and township just now. One gentleman told us that he had been queuing since 4 o'clock this morning, trying to get into a store to purchase food for his children at home that are hungry. Also telling us that it's very difficult to do the 1 meter social distancing, because the way in which people have been queuing outside the shopping centre, the queue runs into a very busy main road. And this gentleman telling us that there's just no way that they can observe this 1 meter social distancing, which of course, Peter, is absolutely crucial. We know this. It's just people have been going to the shops in their numbers today, and I suppose it is also a part of I don't want to say that they are panic buying, but many people are telling us that they only got paid recently, or they had to make loans to go and purchase food. Whatever the reasons are, access to food needs to be addressed. It needs to be a priority. But the Premier also saying that he will make sure that investigations are done into how the messaging around the fact that stores are open. People don't all have to go to the shop in one go. There is no need to stand in long queues for hours on end in blistering conditions here in Cape Town. That is definitely the message that will be looked into. I also spoke to the Premier about whether hospitals in Cape Town and the province on the whole are indeed equipped, because we know, Peter, that globally there has been a shortage of not just masks and gloves, etc., but also medical supplies like respiratory equipment and that kind of thing. The Premier did say that as we speak, there are also plans to make other sites available, and not just the one designated site which originally was Tygerberg Hospital, but that every single hospital in Cape Town, in the Western Cape, be it private or public, will come on or are indeed on board to take in people and to assist with patients who present with COVID-19.
All right. As you've been driving around, Vanessa, how has been the visibility of the authorities, the police and the army? I know that they've been deployed to certain areas, so it's unlikely that you'll see them everywhere, but the police and the traffic police as well.
Peter, the highways, I must tell you, coming into the CBD, from what I've seen this morning early on the N2, traffic extremely quiet. I mean, if I counted 10 vehicles, then that would have been a lot. Also on the N1, we in Cape Town, we used to rush our peak hour traffic sitting in traffic for just the length of time. It's actually quite a weird sight, Peter, to drive on the N1 and the N2 and not see a single vehicle. Even in Cape Town CBD, coming this way towards the Gardens area of Cape Town, it looked like a ghost town, because it would appear as that in this area of the CBD and so on, people are adhering to the message of staying at home, staying off the street. And I saw in Dunoon just now quite a large contingent of Metro Police as well as police and Army SANDF soldiers on a loud hailer, warning people to get off the street, saying that this is a 21-day lockdown. So I've seen a large number of law enforcement officials with SAPS and the SANDF also going home to home in the informal area, telling people to get off the street, that they should observe what the President has announced, and that, of course, is this 21-day lockdown period.
All right. And the taxis, did they observe that cut-off at 9 o'clock this morning? And I believe that they're probably going to pick up again now as they take people in essential services home this evening.
Yes, Peter, I would expect taxis to be operational again this evening, as those who do not necessarily have the luxury of having their own vehicles those essential services workers would depend on taxis to get home. Also, like I said earlier on, there were practically no taxis when I took to the highways this morning, but that may have been after the sort of morning commute, taking people to work. It would be interesting, Peter, yes, indeed, to see how taxis will be managing the afternoon drive home. However, of course, stringent measures that have been put in place with limited numbers of passengers that they can carry, and also, roadblocks facing possible fines, even facing possible arrest, and that's not just taxi drivers, that's each and every citizen who fails to adhere to what is not a joke. It is indeed a very, very serious matter where lives are not just at risk, but lives already have been lost here in Cape Town due to the coronavirus.
All right, Vanessa, that's where we'll leave it for time being. Thanks very much indeed for that update. That's our reporter, Vanessa Poonah, in the Western Cape, outside the Premier Winde's residence there. He'd been speaking to the media about, of course, the sad news about the two women that have passed away, believed to be the coronavirus, one aged 28 and the other 48. We'll have more news for you.